Judge Silverman, I've written you a letter in regards to my son Ronald Russell Farnham. He's to appear before you on December 13th, an unlucky number. And I have composed a letter and sent it to you, and I wish to read it to you, but it's pretty long and I want to make sure I cover everything. So please bear with me. I write, Dear Judge David E. Silverman, I am the Jewish birth mother of Ronald Russell Farnham. I'm 86 years old, and earlier this year I almost died from heart failure, and my son Ronald carried me down a flight of stairs into his car and drove me to the hospital. If we would have waited for an ambulance, I might not have lived. Ronald is a fine, upstanding Jewish man. Rushed me to the hospital where I had emergency procedure to install a pacemaker. If it weren't for my son, then I would be dead because he is my primary caretaker. And if you take him away from me, any amount of time, you are putting my life in danger. So please, don't take him away from me. And his life is in danger in that horrible place where he is truly afraid that you will have him killed. And then tell the newspapers that he committed suicide. If it weren't for my son, then I would be dead, because he is my primary caretaker. And if you take him from me for any amount of time, you are putting my life in danger, and his life in danger. Putting him in that horrible place where he is truly afraid that you will have him killed, and then tell the newspaper that he committed suicide. My son would never commit suicide. He loves life too much. Those are his words. He really believes that you will attempt to have his life taken all over a misunderstanding, a truly misunderstanding. I thought when my mother fled Nazi Europe to America that I would be living in a country that gives freedom where freedom is supposed to be given. Not under Nazi interrogations and not that Nazi feel. It doesn't belong here in America. My son was arrested and is now being discriminated against any persecution for what? His personal beliefs. Has he injured someone? Are we not allowed to feel or believe in our own personal beliefs? Are we supposed to be narrow-minded and not fight for what we believe in? When did that happen here in the United States? That's only in Nazi Germany where that happens. That doesn't happen here in this country. I do not know why you are discriminating against him. He is a good and harmless citizen and has never hurt anyone and is definitely not in a danger to society. My son would never hurt anyone and has never hurt anyone, isn't about to hurt anyone, and he is not a criminal and did not commit a criminal act, and he's being persecuted only because of what he believes in. In fact, he is a Brevard County sports official, coach, teacher, businessman, filmmaker, taxpayer, and voter. He was violently pulled out of out of my car. He was pulled out of my car. Now, my tags were due in March. I went into the hospital in February, and I went in with COVID, and they found out that I needed a pacemaker. I almost died. If my son didn't carry me down the stairs, throw me in his car, and drive me to the hospital before waiting for an ambulance to come and get me, I would have been dead. And they had to do an emergency operation on me. He saved my life. He loves his mother. He loves me. I love him. I need him to protect me. I need him to do things for me. I try to do a lot of things on my own, but he stops in every day to make sure I'm in good health, good condition, good whatever. And the day he got arrested, he was driving my car. Like I said, the tags were due in March, but I was in the hospital in February, and when I came home, I needed a lot of care. Never even gave my tags a concern. Didn't even think about them. Never crossed my mind. And he was stopped by this cop while parking in a parking lot to go into another copy, a better copy, to get some prints I needed made. And for no reason or other, the cops, they looked at this license plate, saw that it was an expired tag, and forced him out of the car. Now, at the time that they stopped him, well, they didn't stop him, he was not driving. He was not driving the motor vehicle when they pulled him out of the car. They didn't pull him over, and he was entitled to drive that car. He had a license, he was entitled to drive, but technically he is not a driver. I didn't pay him to drive for me. I sent him on an errand. And he gets pulled over, put in jail, abused while in jail. Why would you do that? I thought that would stop. I didn't think something like that would happen. Not to my son. Why would that happen to my son? I'm in fear of his life. They treated him very, very poorly while he was in jail. In fact, they wouldn't even let him go to court while he was in jail. They were holding court in jail, and they refused to let him go. They put him in a mental hospital instead. He's not mental. My son is extremely intelligent. He has studied the law for 20 years. He could pass any bar exam. He knows the law. He knows the law better than most judges, because he knows the true law. He knows the true English law. And you don't use the true English law. You use the law that you want to use in your court. But I hope you do not send my son to jail. He's not a criminal. He's a Jewish, a good, upstanding Jewish young man. And I'm a Jewish mother who loves her son. You know how Jewish mamas are. They love their sons. They love their daughters. So please, take heed. Think about this. Throw this case out of court. That's where it needs to go. And by the way, I said to him, Ronald, I don't want you suing all these people. Can you please not do this? It's upsetting me, because I happen to like the police department. I happen to like the courts. I happen to like the judges. most of them, because I feel that we need these people to help us through life. And when things go wrong, we have to depend on our police. We have to depend on an honest judge, a good abiding citizen judge that obeys the law. I said, so please don't do this. You happen to be suing people I like. And he said he wouldn't. He's withdrawing the lawsuits. So, Mr. Silverman, please give this some thought. Thank you and have a good evening.